What is everyone? Welcome to the Nerd On Update, the weekly show where we talk about the stuff in the news that excites us and we answer questions from you, the people.
The people.
I'm very excited to be here, but I believe we have a bit of housekeeping we need to take care of first. Is that correct, Josh?
Tom.
Me! Because today is another day to bring some attention to our listeners across the galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
All the way from Australia to Houston. Do we have a pew problem?
Ooh.
No. But if you do, our friends at Manscaped have cleared you for takeoff with their 4th generation and brand new Lawnmower 4.0.
Oh.
Kick your pubes to the next planet with the Performance Package 4.0.
Oh.
The orbits in your pants will feel like you're in zero gravity when you use the best tools for the job from the leaders in male grooming.
Grooming.
Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped to get your rocket ready for takeoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code NERDON.
On.
Nerd.
Tom, that was the best one.
I think because I messed it up earlier today. So
Yeah, he had practice during one of our regular
I said
episodes.
free shrimping.
Yeah, so we went on a little bit of a diatribe about what is
free
shrimping.
Free
Yeah.
shrimping.
Look, I'm down for shrimping.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just want to get prawny.
Oh.
So our news today, I'll start us off. I'll kick it off here. I have a couple of things. Mine are a little shorter. One that I'm very excited for, real quick, just want to give a shout out before I get into my longer news, is that HBO Max, which I was in our, I keep wanting to say digital green room. Before the show started, we were talking about HBO Max is killing it with their animated stuff. Like when they brought back the Looney Tunes, all that kind of stuff. They have ordered a full series of Fionna and Cake, which is a spin-off series of Adventure Time. There was a one-off episode where they had a alternate world where the genders were reversed. So it was Fionna and Cake, Prince Bubblegum, and all that kind of stuff instead of Marceline. And it was Childish Gambino. Mm-hmm. That was exciting. But they've ordered a full series, half-hour episodes that'll be airing on HBO Max. I couldn't find a date anywhere yet. So the news is just out there that it's officially happening, which I'm excited for. The Fionna and Cake episode had one of my favorite songs to come out of a TV show on it, Oh Fiona. If you know, you know. Beautiful song sung by Neil Patrick Harris, who played the prince in that. So that's that news. My other news is Halo Infinite. We got some bummer news about Halo Infinite.
Yeah?
Shout out.
What do we hear?
I'm trying to be real cool about it because that team has been through a lot over the last year, being forced to, by the fans to take it back and rework on it for another year. But I'm a little disappointed that Halo Infinite will not be launching with co-op campaign capabilities.
Oh.
Which is one of the main
Isn't that like
reasons
one of the things?
Well, I play Halo is to do a co-op campaign.
No.
If you can break it down, what is the game supposed to be then when it comes out?
It will have online multiplayer, because that's available. That's kind of what they're
normal
pushing.
Team Deathmatch.
My understanding is yes, that will be available. However, the campaign will only be single player for the first 3 months, and then they're planning on launching the co-op campaign. This is kind of heartbreaking for me because ever since I didn't do it with the first game, but the second game I've always played through my first time right when it came out with shout out to ACD Money and his brother. Whether it was split screen or from Halo 3 on, we played online, and especially from Halo 3 on, we've done day one. We run through pretty much the whole campaign on Legendary together online. So I won't be able to do that for 3 months, which is kind of makes me think like maybe I just wait and get it when it comes out with the co-op. But also I want to support the series, so I'm like it's a weird.
Yeah, you can get it and then you play it when they release the patch.
It's the parable of the service-based games, where they want to continually feel like there's new installments to the game and it's expanding and it's growing with the audience. I think the tough thing is, just kind of like we always talk about it on the show of how much are you willing to pay for the game because it's free.
Yes, ish. It's going free to play online. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's just, they're also not doing, I don't know if you're familiar with Forge mode, which is like a custom builder mode. You can create what you want in there, and that won't be coming out for at least 6 months after that. So a lot of these, what I would consider to be core aspects of what makes a Halo game Halo, are not going to be there on launch, and it's a bummer. And I probably, because I don't like doing the multiplayer until I've beaten the campaign. I just like to get a feel for the whole thing, and then I go, well, now I can.
Yeah,
it breaks you in.
The campaign, the campaign's the tutorial.
Yeah. And I definitely, it's not something I'm going to play on my own the first time. It's something I want to experience.
Why not just wait
3 more months?
3 more months.
It's tough.
Have it come out.
I feel for them because they delayed it a year already. And I feel like they had a lose-lose situation on their hands in that sense. And that's where I'm trying to be more understanding. Like, if they had said, hey, we're going to be 3 months late, their fans would have lost it. Or they say, we're going to launch on time, but it's going to miss this thing for 3 months, but it's coming. And I think this was the best option for them as a company to not face total backlash.
At least get the product out there.
And I think there is a little bit of conversation of it being, this is the first Halo game that's not going to have a ticket price. Right? It's not going to have a sticker price immediately attached to it, because normally, they're like $50-$60. You have a campaign, online mode, they add new maps, add new, modes and stuff like that.
Which I'm always cool with. Like they've always been a company who's updated their games as they gone, but now they're facing the world of Fortnite and Apex and all these other free online shooter battle royales. Whereas like you have Call of Duties and much love to the developers who work really hard on it, but also people work on a game for 3 years and then 12 months later it's all shelled for the next game. Mm-hmm.
And that's a $60 price for online modes that are barely played, and so the servers get shut down. Versus Halo is trying to compete with that, especially with things like Destiny and everything like that, which are all still free to play. So the figuring out like where does the storyline and where does the ticket price come from? Because if you're not paying for the game, then also it's tough to give everything.
Yeah, sure.
out.
Yeah. I mean, my opinion's always been on this show that I would rather companies take the time they need to release the game how it's meant to be. So I was definitely in that camp. Like I probably won't get it until that's out, and then I'll download and play it. It's just gonna have to be how it is.
Well, and if anything, that helps their statistics of like, okay, we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Oops. It is voting with your dollars.
Right.
It is voting with that.
Downloads and stuff like that. So, we got some other games that are coming out in the next few months that I'm going to be pumped on, like the Diablo 2 Resurrected and Back 4 Blood. So I got some stuff to take up my time till then.
Oh, yeah.
Dying Light 2.
That is my news. Well, that's December, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So we're going to get 2 months with Back 4 Blood. And then, yep.
Your November's already booked, sounds like.
Sounds like it.
Josh?
Yeah, I'll go next. So over the past couple of years, a mod for, a little backstory. Fallout 4 has a very ingrained like mod community. There's lots of mods for it, including at one point the game was, according to my PC friends, was essentially unplayable. And a mod came out that fixed everything.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And they have a huge mod kind of space
community.
And one of those mods was called Fallout London. And Bethesda was so impressed that they hired one of the writers to join the team.
That's what's up.
That's very good.
Stephanie, if you're listening, I apologize, but I'm going to try. I have looked up the name. Stephanie Zachariades. She is joining the Bethesda team as associate level designer.
Wow.
But the product or the project is not known yet. But I think that's still, it's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's a good pivot. I mean, they had some issues with their mod community. I think you reported on recently.
It was a GTA community.
Oh, that's
that
what it was.
They had to due to
my mistake.
Copyright but it brings up a good thing with mods in general. Just potential copyright issues and all that kind of
I
stuff.
could have sworn, and maybe someone in chat we'll check this later, but I swear they had an issue with the Skyrim mods. Bethesda specifically did something where they monetized on Skyrim mods, and the community got pretty upset. So it's nice to hear that they're actually now working with the mod community.
That's very much like the people that did the better deep fake for Mark Hamill for Mandalorian, and then Lucasfilm's hiring them. It's to me, I think it's a really cool storytelling of like, people who are passionate about it, who find a way to make the thing that you like better, being rewarded for that thing.
Yeah, and I think
are they reshooting the ending of season 2?
I have no idea.
Because there was a thing Hamill posted where he's on the set of
No, that was just a behind the scenes of him.
Something's coming out. There's a new season 2 ending coming August 25th that he posted about. So I wonder if they worked with that guy and are redoing the
or person.
Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, the person that they hired, and they're redoing the CG or something. Anyway.
But yeah, it's and they're also, I know that they've been talking about over the last year of opening up mods for Fallout 76 Fallout 76 has some pretty exciting things that are coming out. Fallout Worlds looks really dope. Basically like custom servers where you're like, the enemies are hard. You can camp anywhere. Like it's looking really cool. But that's my news. Next.
Kaylin? Me? Kaylin?
Tom.
I will have Tom go.
Okay.
Nice, the old Republic.
Yep.
Nope, not at all. It's me,
Your boy.
the DC boy with this new Batman Beyond Todd McFarlane
His
toy.
feet are sneezing like dragons.
Those are rockets. But I'm not going to talk about any DC news today. Because there's two things that kind of was really big for me this week. One in particular was Star Wars Visions trailer came out. And I really like it because my thing is anime is in my blood. Anime was the first superheroes for me because they were the ones that were supposed to look like me.
But also the Star Wars series.
Well, that's the thing. Where Visions is done in anime, and there was just as things are on the internet, as things are with the Star Wars community, there are wonderful members of the fandom, and then there's terrible members of the fandom because if there's anything different than what the original trilogy is, it's an abomination, should not be done. So I love anime, and I really like this story or this what they're going with it of having this anthology series of different anime studios do 9 different episodes. So 7 studios,
too.
7 studios, 9 episodes. And I just want to make a comment a little bit about there are terrible kind of sentiments being said of like, I want Star Wars to go back to the way it was, not this SJW woke shit.
Oh, make Star Wars great again.
Well, yeah, and it's just like, Star Wars is Kurosawa.
That's staying it should.
It's Kurosawa, it's fantasy, and it's Star Trek. Or it's Dune.
I mean,
at the
they're
same time.
forgetting exactly what it's based
Where it
off
came
of.
from.
Yeah, which is old Japanese samurai films.
And cowboys. And to me, it's the most like referential kind of thing, but people just pretend that it's the most original thing. But to me, it allows Star Wars to kind of reach new ground, new storytelling. Also, I just love that, they just go all in. There's a lot of Promare looking stuff in there, so it looks really cool.
The shot of him pulling the sword out of the sheath from the side was like,
It looks so good. So I'm just about that. And the second thing, which is kind of like, to me, like a more shattery thing, and if you follow the show, you follow me, kind of what I'm all about in terms of how I look at the industry and how I hate these kind of corporate sweeps kind of things. So OnlyFans, something that I've threatened to make multiple times.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like
Now he can't.
I won't do it because so what happened recently was that there was an announcement that by October they were going to censor explicit material. And that just meant like particular people, like let's say me, couldn't have explicitly adult content. But if I still have a nudie pic in there, that's okay. So it was really wishy-washy. But then it followed up and developed even further where afterwards they're like, no, we're actually going to ban all explicit material, which people were like, oh, keep the platform safe. And, there's an argument for, oh, I understand now, all these people who kind of peddle smut and X, Y, and Z. But I think what people are missing the big dialogue is that OnlyFans wouldn't exist if it wasn't for sex workers and for people putting themselves out there and building OnlyFans up to being this place of like you can directly support people that you want to direct. And then when now OnlyFans turns its back on those people to say we want to appeal to better investors, we want to be in the App Store, and it's like
shitty.
So you were willing to profit off the backs of the people that built you up until you don't want them anymore. That's what you're truly saying.
A lot of people.
Yeah, America.
And
so go ahead. No, Kaylin.
I actually made a presentation in college. I was an art student, and something that really bothered me was I was doing photography and whatnot, and there was a point where they were saying, oh, if you want to get to be a professional photographer, you'll have to do a set of nudes. That has to be in your repertoire to show how you portray the human body and everything. And I was like, but there were lines you couldn't cross with it. So one of my thesis presentation or whatever for the end of the semester was, what is the line between art, fine art, and porn and explicit porn? And it's like, well,
we've talked about this on the show.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, but it's just like, okay, what's explicit then? Because everything is a fetish. Literally everything is a fetish. Anything you can think of, it's a fetish.
Subjective, not objective.
Right. So it's like,
it's a subjective
how
question.
how are we going to say that what is and is not explicit? Because what if you're like, okay, here's me spread eagle. This is my Georgia O'Keeffe.
But it's and it goes beyond that. It's a bigger conversation about like this is not the first time that sex workers have helped some sort of company or industry take off, only to have that industry turn its back on it.
Right. Well,
I talk about this all the time. Blu-ray was a huge one. The reason Blu-ray exists is because porn got behind it.
Right.
And
then all the companies were like, well, we're doing that.
Yeah. And then they stopped selling, went online and made their money off online that way. And sex workers had to change the way they think once videos were downloaded for free online. It's like, it's upsetting.
And a lot of the back end stuff that was about the OnlyFans thing is actually the credit card companies, correct?
MasterCard.
They don't want to. The banks are, from what I was reading, primarily conservative, and they don't want to support.
Well, they're going to pull their access from
They're going to pull their access unless they individually censored every photo, video, and had someone watching like live every live stream that happened. And it was going to be so expensive because you'd have to have so many people watching literally every piece that comes in.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
No.
So they give them these standards that there's no way they can meet, but they waited how many years to implement this?
It's just a larger conversation about America and its issues with viewing sex workers as real workers.
Of course.
Yeah, and I heard most of this information from a show that I typically watch to get a lot of good unbiased news, which is Phil DeFranco's show. And, he had a conversation with, an adult entertainment creator. And they were just talking about, like, I've had to jump from different platforms several times because of these things. And
Patreon, too.
Patreon, Pornhub, all of these things have always had these kind of weird obstacles. And to me, the tough thing is kind of like, I always want to lament about my artistic journey and all this crap that I'm doing. But, like, it is very tough when, like, she was talking about it where it was like OnlyFans, like, felt too good to be true. And of course it is. Because it was one place that said that, yes, we want all of our creators to feel comfortable, to be, embraced and welcomed. And then here we are.
JK, bro.
Now that they're praised for, a $1 trillion or $1 billion business, now they're like, well, never mind. We don't care about you. And we only want to have, it's just like, what was the point?
Because now we have the money to do that.
Yeah. And so it's very irritating because also there's just a lot of, like, you pointed out where it's like there's a lot of smokescreen of like, oh, it's to investors. It's to appeal to the app store. It's like, it's about the credit card company. And the thing is that every other company that has worked with adult entertainment don't pull out from you. Like, once you have the platform in place, like, you're fine. And so it's really dumb that, people are being fickle over the, the banks, which is anyways.
Yeah, it's an interesting, just like, because I mean, at the end of the day, OnlyFans is essentially just a platform that is supported by millions of creators. And I'm wondering how, they're probably going to be, like somebody said in the chat, they're probably going to be left in the dust. It's like,
that's
like,
what
for one
with
example.
Tumblr too.
Yeah, I mean, like Patreon,
Snapchat.
shout out to them. They made this decision a couple of years ago, and the creators, the community revolted, and they were like, never mind. Yeah. Just kidding.
And so I just want to bring awareness also to, I guess, Just Fans is a website, is a platform that most people go to. It's created by sex workers. It's for sex workers. And they put this giant post. It's like, we're not here to disparage any company, but this isn't the first company that has built their company off the backs of sex workers to throw them to the side in order for them to appeal to other companies. Yep. So Just Fans is probably the better way to go. And if you know a better place, then good, because I think that's kind of like the worst way is to take money away from people who treat this like as professionally as every other job. So it's not a place for us to kind of look down on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. It's really frustrating to see companies let things go so that they can make all the 100%. Money they need, and then they make loopholes that never previously existed so that they can squeeze anyone out that they want to.
Exactly.
Bring us up, Caitlin. What's your news?
So, so I was only really super into wrestling for maybe a couple years, but I had heard of CM Punk. So I knew that CM Punk's like a very big deal. But he had left. So like 7 years ago, CM Punk left left the ring for a long, long time. And this past Friday, on All Elite Wrestling, AEW, CM Punk came back. And
Heyo.
Broke the internet.
he broke them because it
and
was
the
like,
stadium, I believe.
oh yeah, he was like diving into the crowd, hugging people. And in an interview, he even said that I knew that my coming back had to happen to a live audience. So it was just like, if things didn't happen just so, that wouldn't have happened that way, but it did, and it was like the longest fan reaction they've had to someone
I think
coming
somebody
out.
was like, "This is the biggest entrance I've seen. Like it breaks The Rock or it
Yeah,
breaks
it's-
anybody
it's
that
bigger
has
than
Don't
ever
tell
entered."
Steve's.
sorry,
Steve's
Steve's.
about it.
Okay.
Steve's about it. He had the shirt.
No, I
with-
just meant that comment.
Yeah.
Bigger
Yeah.
than.
Well, I'm sorry. You don't stay in the highlight forever. So
I mean, it's true. New records.
Steve's grow up.
New records happen. But so on September 5th in Chicago, he's going to be wrestling against Darby Allin in his first match back in All Out in a pay-per-view event.
Pay-per-view.
I know.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I want to redact a comment I said of NWO. It's NXT. I'm sorry. I remember
Oh, yeah.
when they
NWO. I was like NWO.
I was like-
Hulk
OG,
Hogan.
yeah.
and
I don't
Kevin
think that's
Nash.
right, but I'm
Yeah.
just going to let you say
No,
whatever
because
you
I
want.
remember like that
Hollywood
was,
Hulk
like at
Hogan,
that
sorry.
point I was watching it because of my roommate, and I remember CM Punk, and everyone was going crazy about him. And then I remember him leaving, and he writing for Punisher for a while, like
wow.
the Punisher comic books. So,
I'm a lord.
oh yeah, yeah.
JDF.
Yeah, on the chat, Jason David Frank, aka the Green Ranger,
Oh,
has called him out multiple times to fight, and CM Punk's like, I don't fight
I don't want to
people
fight.
like you.
We're not fighting. I do have one other thing that surfaced this week. So Henchman Story, the video game
You
that
directed.
I directed on. Originally, I was just script supervising, then assistant, and then I ended up being the director. And also, depending on how you play the game, you might hear my voice in it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, you will hear my voice in it, depending on how you play.
Cat lady.
I'm not telling nothing.
Okay.
I'm the cool things. Anyway,
Cat lady.
so
I'm the cool things.
I can't say anything else. So on October 14th of this year, the game is going to be releasing not just on PC, but on all major consoles. So it's going to be on
that's what's
Nintendo
good.
Switch. It's going to be on PS4, PS5, and Xbox. And there's also an updated demo right now on Steam. So this is me asking all of you to go and wishlist the game, play the demo. Let me know what you think. I'm very excited. So
Dope.
much cool stuff in this game. Oh my god.
I am the cool stuff, she
Yeah.
says.
Kind of. A little. But only a little too bit.
Questions.
Next part of our show, the last part of our show, is in which we answer questions from you, the people. And if you would like to submit questions,
How do they do it?
go to nerdon.tv/questions, and all of the ways that you can. You can send an email, there's a form. You can even go to our Discord, and there are channels in there built just for that reason, to submit questions. And some questions are so good, people can't wait to answer them. So that's a lot of fun to see too. But and if you are a member of the Nerd On Nation, you do get what we call, my
Good
words
save,
are
good save,
just
good
like,
save, good save, good save.
doesn't matter. You get what we
We're
call
messing with you.
the Nerd On Nudge, which gets your questions answered first.
First.
So join that Nerd On Nation. You get lots of perks. Like, we actually tell you about super big news. Like, we may or may not have announced something last week that only the nation knows about right now.
It's true.
Yeah.
So
It's true
check it out,
facts.
nerdon.tv/Patreon. But
And the public will know eventually, but it's gonna be so late by then. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna be
Yeah.
so behind.
That could be
You're
a
gonna
while.
have
You
all.
could have known.
Wow.
You're gonna have all the FOMO.
Yeah.
You don't want FOMO.
They all know right now, and you're
Yeah.
sitting there going, "What is it?" They all
Yeah,
know.
what is it?
They
They
already
all
know.
know.
They're already aware.
4 quarters.
Yep.
So
and
easy.
we have only 15 more members to get before we reach our 60 members goal. So
Yeah, which
pretty dope.
Means y'all get to choose what we cover.
But
All right.
you can ask questions like Mamba asks,
Phantom,
Jesus.
Danny, Phantom, Ballsy.
pitch a new video game that has no history or that is not a franchise.
That has no history. I've pitched my game.
An original, no history, no
Yes. Original game. It takes place in history. It takes place in a time in history, but it's the 5 points. But I guess I based that off Gangs of New York a little bit, but it was real. Like the Gangs of New York were real. Is based off real history. So I have this Bible basically of map outlines, character designs, storylines for an open world game that takes place during the same time period Gangs of New York did. But instead of the Gangs of New York world, which you could use that, that's fine. But
it would be DLC.
It would be DLC. You would use the real gangs during that time, and you could join different gangs, that kind of stuff. But I've done that already. I've covered that on our past episodes. So give me a sec. I'll try to think of something.
You don't
while y'all
have to. That's a really
I think
good
it's
idea.
a good challenge.
I thought of one immediately, and I'm kind
Do
of
it.
upset because I don't really like this concept at all, but my brain won't detach from it. Thank you, Tom. What if, you were in like England during the beginning of the Black Plague and you were a rat? And so it's kind of like
Yeah.
GTA, where you're going around town giving
Giving
the
people-
bubonic plague.
GTA meets Plague Inc.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
God.
exactly.
Oh,
So you're
man.
like a rat going through the sewers and going through towns and stuff and like stealing cheese, giving the plague,
I kind of
Things you do as
they
a
because
rat.
they have that cat game that came out where you're a cat wandering around the city and seeing
Oh.
different. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, the little backpack cat
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
It's just that kind of you use that engine,
Right.
but it's a
you're-
rat splitting the bubons.
Yeah, the
The bu-
bubon.
The boobums.
Has it been long enough that we can joke about the bubonic plague now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I don't know.
I mean, Daily Show used to do it all the time.
Okay,
but,
great.
But with the COVID, it does change.
I mean,
it.
at least
It
they
does
wore,
change
at least
things
they
a
wore
little bit.
masks then. So
Fair.
really
Yeah.
cool, freaky masks.
play
Ooh.
Dr. Babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want to get a plague doctor mask and wear it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah.
When I played
Huh.
Plague Inc., my friend would always say that's the dick move game.
Dick move, bro.
Because it was like, you're a fungus. I was like, go on plane. Plane's the easiest way to kill everyone.
Wow. Okay.
It was. Because you're
Yeah.
spraying the plague.
You ain't wrong.
Josh?
I mean, I'm a sucker for open world zombie games, so it'd be cool if there was like an open world zombie game in like the Victorian age. Like all those zombie games are during kind of nowadays. It'd be cool to have like
Old timey.
in a different
Like
time in history.
like Dead Rising or Days Gone, but in
But the zombie wears a
Yeah.
cravat.
and like weapons available to
lady
you would be
gloves.
different.
in ball gowns.
And they walk like this.
Yeah. There would be that. You'd have
Cravat.
you'd be like carriages. There would be like you'd have carriages, horses,
Carriage chases.
Zombie horses and carriages.
I'm in.
Zombie carriages.
I have played.
Yeah,
I
I
have
heard it.
played vampire.
That's why I had to slow down. I was like zombie horses and
And
carriages.
carriages.
And just
Yeah.
regular carriages.
Regular
Just
carriages.
Zombie carriages. Yeah.
Tom?
I'm looking for. I want a rhythm game.
Okay.
But I'm thinking making one where not like what's the Switch Fit boy runner
Ring
man?
Fit?
Ring Fit man. But I'm thinking like actual, like DDR commands.
Oh.
But like just so we can get DDR back. So but like you're dancing, you're doing all the things to music, but except the entire game is fights. And so you're just like, okay, cool, you're an assassin. This is your first mission. You're a little yuppie, so you go to the dealer over there who wronged me, and then you have to fight him, and then you beat him. And then as you get better, you could choose a difficulty for sure, but then like you go into a club and that's a whole fight scene, but you're doing the dance moves and all that stuff. But then it's going to like the cool beats. That's what I'd want to do.
Dope.
Okay. I think I got a dumb one here.
Maybe not
Good
dumb.
build
What
up,
if it's
buddy.
like
this is
brilliant?
y'all's had good ideas because I want to play
The
Tom's
bubonic
now.
plague
I wanna
was a
tell-
good idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was. I don't think to play as a little rat running around.
But
Okay,
like
that's
you'd have
really
like
old
you'd have
England.
like bosses and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
could do like a chase scene, which is like
I want to play Tom's game. You know how like NBA 2K whatever has like their my career mode and you build your own character
Where you
and,
play
and it's like a
basketball?
storyline, but you're also basketballing. I would love to create a game that has that, but it's like bowling or like ping pong or some sport that
It's-
just doesn't get the
that doesn't
love
get the
2K.
focus, like-
Yeah, whatever it does.
Like you're a pool player and you have a
Like how
career.
cool would it be if there was like a RPG style bowling game where you could basically build the dude if you wanted.
Where is that guy?
And you go into different challenges, and depending on how you do, you enter different tournaments for the bowling leagues. I think there could be
I'm in.
an interesting bowling RPG.
I was gonna say if it's ping pong, I would have just made Forrest Gump.
You could make Forrest Gump. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Or like
I'm in.
what if it's like I don't know. Like maybe you go to the Olympics if you do good enough. I don't know. I think it'd be fun to have a storyline in some sport that just you're like bowling. Have you
I
guys
didn't know
played
I
the
needed
new,
this,
the
but-
new My Career in the bowling 2K21?
And there could be DLC, like the
Yeah.
dude and all that kind of stuff.
For sure. Like
It's there.
you play all of that.
Because,
I mean,
like,
the dude doesn't
bowling-
bowl, but
like the bowling or pool games. Like
What about that?
you only get like it's just that.
Yeah.
You just play the thing.
There's that one guy who like got knocked down all the pins in like a real life bowling tournament, and he like screamed about like, "Do you know who I am?"
yeah.
Like that guy. Could
Add
be
that
in the
guy in
game.
there. Add
Yeah.
the characters from Kingpin in there. Kingpin? Yeah, Kingpin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kingpin.
Just sounded weird because of Marvel.
And then
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
and then
that's
Alley
fine.
Cat Strike.
Yeah.
Have you
Like,
played
the
have you
DLC's
played Bowling
there, guys.
2K22?
Yeah.
Have you played
you?
it? It's so good.
Yeah.
I platinumed.
Anyway,
Next-
that's my pitch now.
Next question comes from Dougler. So when you guys are looking for something new, such as book, movie, TV show, video game, or what have you, where's the first place you look for the new thing?
Tom.
Okay.
No, that's where I look. I gotta go to Tom. Tom has given me all the suggestions for most of the new stuff I check out media wise, I think.
Honestly, for me, it is as silly as it sounds. It's trusty. The people also bought sometimes. Like I will do this game where I call it a game, but I'll go to something that I'm like that comes up on the Apple TV, for instance. Something comes up as it's best selling this week or whatever. I'll go to that, and then I go down to the people also rented, and I'm like, cool. And then I keep going down to this. Now I'm like 10 deep, and I'm like, so what do you want to watch? Do you want to watch Catch Me If You Can or Bridge of Spies? It's just like random stuff. And
Tom Hanks universe.
Tom Hanks universe, the Hanks verse. But usually, yeah, recommend it. Even with books, it's like, oh, because you read the Red Rising trilogy, you might like this, or you like Christopher Moore, you might like this. So it's like oftentimes it's that.
So algorithms.
Algorithms are
David algorithms.
Yeah, David algorithms.
Kaylin?
You got
Tom?
one or you me?
You.
So I have a little bit of different between all of them. So like with a film, I'm looking for something that kind of is something that I would look into. So like, I made a joke about this where it's like, for the love of God, I wish Marvel would leave me alone, because I know when everything comes out, especially with Star Wars, all the big franchises, I know when they're going to come out. But then looking for something like, oh, Green Knight, like, oh, I haven't heard about this. What is this? And then like, I want to read the Arthurian poem. And I'm like, oh, cool. Now I know something new. But if it's like a book, then I'm going to look at, is it a series? What is it about? I will Wikipedia and be like, okay, give me the gist. For a TV show, however,
Spark Notes, baby.
I kind of look at like the streamer. And so like, who's hosting this? Because if it's like HBO Max, I'm like, I know it's going to be, I know it's going to be. But Netflix, I'm like, oh, I know several people watch it. But I kind of want to look for things that are obscure, that are like, I know no one's talking about this, but then I want to find the gem that's like, oh, this is special to me. Like it's fun to be part of the water cooler conversation, but like when I was raving about Raised by Wolves, I was like, guys, God, y'all,
Yeah.
so good. I mean, like, but it was just like that very cool thing that I had. So that's for me.
I also want to shout out a lot of comics that I read, especially during the pandemic, but right before the pandemic, also like the 2019 year, was due to Caveless Crusaders.
Mhm.
Anytime I want some suggestion on what to read or whatever, I go and listen to some of their episodes. They had this really wonderful episode where they broke down like their suggestions for someone getting into comics. And I realized that a lot of those were ones that I hadn't read, and they had referred to them as kind of staples. And so I ended up getting almost all of them and reading every single one I could.
I went to David Barry because 2020, I read a lot of comics, and I'm not saying that I have this like niche interest, but I'm not looking at all of the top line things. And I was like, okay, this is what I like. And he's like, oh, you want this? And then this, and then go to this. And it was like,
they're a
spot
wealth of
on.
knowledge. And then of course, anytime I have any wrestling questions,
Steve's.
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 Amy's is the one for me.
Yeah, Amy's been great.
Amy's phenomenal. Go check out Caves Crusaders, y'all. Listen.
Yeah. I was on an episode with them, and she gave me some great suggestions for. Anyway, next question. Or Caitlin. Sorry.
I'm existing as well.
Sorry.
I don't know. I feel like the things that I've watched or read or whatever have just kind of been. It usually has to catch my eye enough times. Like only this year did I finally watch Downton Abbey. And then it ended up, and it has to catch my eye in a way that I think it will be personally meaningful to me. And then it usually ends up being a cacophony of meaningful things in my life that run parallel. And it's like, because I've only heard bits and pieces about it for a very long time. So I don't normally seek out things that are brand new. It's normally, this has already existed.
You've heard it in the
I've heard it in the background for long enough, and I know just enough about it that I feel like I will be able to connect to it very strongly. Only then will I seek something out in that way, shape, or form.
So, like, your answer is basically like the current zeitgeist to an extent is how you watch things.
Like personal zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Personal zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's like you have a pull list, and then you're just choosing which one you're going to partake in it.
Right. In the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're collectively aware, but then it's like, I could choose whenever I want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch things or read things, or I'll take in some kind of media if it's something that all of my friends are like, I want to talk about this right now, so go see it. And I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
I will do that thing.
You'll talk about Bridgerton soon.
Yeah. Oh no. Bridgerton was one of those personal zeitgeist things that I was like, just ate all of it at once. But yeah,
Yeah.
Nice. Next question comes from Zell.
Shout out.
What is your perfect cup of coffee?
Oh man, that's a good question. I don't. A lot of different ones. I think depend. Never iced, always hot. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Has to be iced.
Yeah. You don't like
iced,
hot drinks though.
And a lot of it. I like a lot. I mean, if I'm going to have something, I'm like, I want a lot of iced coffee. And to me, it could be cold brew. But then typically, if I want it like, this is mine and I get to enjoy it, it's going to be, a little bit like my skin tone.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a little sweet, but a little bitter.
It's got some cream in it.
Yeah. You know what? I like my coffee like I like my Tom.
Yeah. In a cup, cold and bitter.
Nice. Yeah.
In my mouth.
Oh, that's not where I thought that was going to go.
We should have.
I don't melt in your hands. I melt in your mouth.
Yeah.
Should have.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a simple guy. When I make coffee at home, we do the all natural creamer, but my actual personal favorite is freshly ground with a pour over and just a little bit of heavy cream, no sugar, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just heavy cream in it, and that's kind of my go-to. Keep it simple.
Nice. Kaylin?
She likes her coffee tea.
Anymore. Well, I do drink coffee some. Yeah. I do like blonde roasts. I love medium roasts.
Always light roast for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a dark roast kind of guy.
I'll do dark roast if I'm in a very particular part of life.
Sure. Yeah, sure. But it's less caffeine. I feel like I'm losing out.
It's really just like the flavor wakes me up more than anything. That's the kind of thing where I'll brew it with cinnamon and just make your brain feel more awake.
You and Mikey.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm more of I want whole milk in it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that fatty goodness, and that's it. Whole milk and coffee.
It's a good choice. I learned something a few years ago about from a dairy expert. And he was like, "What milk do you have?" And I was like, "Oh, we switched to whole milk." He said, "Good. Either go fat free or go whole." He goes, 2% is basically made by mixing the two, and so it turns into a non-naturally occurring fat, and your body processes it terribly.
Huh.
Which so shout out to them.
Wow.
1% and 2% milk are like these weird in betweens. He's like, either go fat free or full fat.
So wait, that's not skim though, right?
Skim would be fat free, right? No. Skim would be 1%.
Skim is 1%.
Yeah, 1 and 2%
so skim
is no.
is 1%.
Yeah.
2% is like haha.
Is low fat.
Right in
it's
the
just
middle.
called like 2% milk usually, but low fat. And then so he's like, either go fat free or because they're mixed weird. And he's like, that's why there's a lot of these sites and nutritionists that say like a 1 6-ounce cup of whole milk a day helps you like lose weight because it's a naturally occurring fat, a healthier fat.
Yeah.
Whereas 2% is not. And I just, so it was like blew my mind.
Huh.
Yeah. So whole milk, good choice.
The more you know.
Nice.
Josh?
Yeah.
I mean, I love if you're ever able to get a cup of coffee in like Paris, like French coffee, like
Okay.
you get French roast and whatnot, and it doesn't
that
really.
sounds great.
Did say perfect, I guess.
Yeah, no, you're wrong.
But
Not wrong.
Hop on a flight.
within
Go to
reason,
Paris.
I like an iced latte with
No,
an
I think-
extra shot.
I think keep your original answer because it said
Yeah,
perfect
it's-
cup of coffee.
yeah.
Perfect cup
Well,
of coffee is
in
from
Paris.
a cafe in Paris because you get French roasts, and it just does not taste the same.
No, not at all.
Like at all.
At
Well,
all.
I'm very glad you brought that up because it reminded me fucking Vietnamese iced coffee.
Yeah.
That is
really
the one
good.
because it's high in caffeine and it'll wake your ass up.
It'll
I
wait.
want to
that
be
the
the
super
guy
sugar
who
one,
does,
too?
You can
iced
have it with
coffee.
condensed milk.
Oh yeah, that's it.
So sometimes you don't have to, but it's typically the one where you got to mix it up because it's like light on the top, dark on the
Yeah,
bottom.
it's just
Oh,
got this taste that they're burgers too, man.
Wait. Is there like a specific cafe?
No, like it was a weird situation where every time you went into
Just all of them.
they
Anywhere
just
in Paris.
all, and if you could get a croque madame, which is a breakfast sandwich. Oh,
Well, no. You explain what is a croque madame?
versus a croque monsieur.
It stands for frog lady.
No.
Croque madame.
I don't know, but
No.
basically
Corey.
it's a piece of bread.
Corey,
that
you
has-
piece of shit.
It's CROQUE.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Not
has
croaking.
a piece of bread that has cheese melted on it, and depending on how you get it, you could get it with ham on it and an egg,
Okay.
and it's just there's a reason why I gained weight
Yes.
in
I
Paris.
see.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's just like you have that because we had a cafe just down the street from our hotel,
Danger.
and you just when you're traveling, I don't know how everybody else is, but I get up at 5 and I'm like, cool, I'm good, let's do this.
Well, yeah, it
Nope.
depends on the time change.
Yeah.
for sure.
True.
Paris was a major change.
I want to ask you this one thing. Dana ran into this issue like iced coffee is not a thing in
No.
France, and so they went somewhere. Her brother-in-law, Arthur, his family's French, and his grandparents live out there. And so she was trying to order it, and the lady was like, "I don't know what you ice in your coffee. What is that?" And
Yeah.
he was like trying to explain it in French, and Dana was like, "I just give me I just want a coffee. I'm fine. I didn't want I just wanted ice." Finally, they got it to her, but I didn't know it's like not an iced
Oh,
coffee
no,
is
no.
very American.
Yeah.
Just bring up iced tea in England. See how it goes.
Oh yeah, no.
You don't do that.
No,
You
no.
don't do that, by the way.
So we've made a meal of all of our questions.
Yes.
How much time do we have for questions?
I
in the
think we
chat?
have a couple more
We got
questions. I
time.
wanted to. Talon brought up in response to my video game asking about vampire. There's a lot of vampires in like Victorian age.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they talk about that a
Oh.
lot, but you don't see a lot of zombie specifically in Victorian.
There was a
age.
thing where someone did a spin where
Pride and Prejudice and zombies.
where
I loved
Jack
that book.
Jack the Ripper was a vampire. Like there's I think there's
Yeah.
like a story where someone wrote it as Jack the Ripper was just
Just
a
because I
vampire.
have to ask this.
Yeah.
How many at this table thought that vampires use their teeth
No.
like straws?
No.
Because
Oh, I
saw-
retweeted that. Who said
Yeah,
that?
I saw
recently?
that
Yeah.
too.
Mikey posted that.
That was
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, I'm a fucking idiot. Of
I
course.
I was as a child. That's what I thought as well.
They just, like-
so. Yeah, because it was always so clean.
I think, well,
So I was like, they're obviously just like
my,
shoot.
my first experience with vampires were Blade.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so, like, it was very violent. But then, like, you have the Blood Club and it was sexual.
Oh.
And then after that, it was like all the time I said, just 2 holes. I'm like, no, that's not real. Like, there's a lot of veins and arteries going on up there.
yeah,
we got
I'd
plenty of time.
say
3.
I'd say
It's our
we
fault.
usually are done by now.
I know. We started
too late.
No, we've recorded 45.
I know, but we recorded a few minutes before we went live on the show, and we started late, and we took a long time to answer. I don't want to punish our listeners.
Or else
Yeah,
they're not going to
for
put it in the
us.
chat
Okay,
anymore.
we gotta go quick.
Yeah.
Let's go.
First question from Zell. What is your go-to nostalgia music from video games, television, or movies?
Go ahead.
Dragon Ball Z, Rock the Dragon, American dub, all
Phantom,
day.
Danny
No,
Phantom.
that's Dragon
Phantom
no.
Ball Z.
Next.
Return to Xanarkand from Final Fantasy X.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, you know me. Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy
VII.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
And you
That
know
is
me,
like-
it's Halo.
Yeah.
100% Halo.
You know this.
Oh,
All right.
You know this.
T-Dog 8282. What is the worst pickup line you have used or has been used on? you?
oh no.
I've never used pickup lines.
Oh, you want to know one that was like great that I
Yeah.
used?
Yeah.
Did you hear about the new rocket that they shipped out, Caitlin?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. So one shot this way, one shot this way.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's
My other favorite one that Tom taught me is if you were a pirate, would you put the parrot on this shoulder or this shoulder? And that
Definitely
was
this
my other favorite
shoulder.
one. Yeah. That was my other favorite one.
I mean, there's dumb ones. There's one that's like it's like a matrix question. Is if I were to ask you out, would the answer to that question be the same to this one? No matter what, it's a yes.
Yeah. What if they go, fuck you?
Then I was like, I will.
All right.
Caitlin?
So mine was situational. I came up with it on the spot. I had been imbibing in libations that evening, and there was
Quite
this
fanciful
guy
to say.
Yeah.
who was
I was drunk.
cute, and I definitely overwhelmed a little bit. I was wearing these these leggings that had all these world maps and everything all over it. I'm gonna botch whatever it was, but I Captain Morganed my leg onto a stool, looked at him and said, "Want to go around the world?" And he was
The
literally
drill, as always.
And he was like, I'm afraid of travel.
he was actually slack-jawed and didn't know what to say. He was like, and then we got caught in conversation. I just left.
That was it.
So he didn't even have a chance to say anything.
Kind of
The
way to
timing
do
was
it.
off. He didn't respond
That
fast
was
enough,
the-
so
he
I
failed
left.
the test.
He
You failed the test.
He failed the test.
Josh?
I
I
got nothing. I used to know a lot of them because
Yeah, they were fun.
Actually,
They were fun.
what's funny is I remember I dated somebody that our joke was that we would make up stupid pickup lines, and it just kind of like we ended up dating for a little while
Aw.
because we connected over
That.
dumb
Your
pickup lines.
That's amazing.
And it just kind of was like, who could make the other groan more, and it was just like the humor of like trading that. And
Yeah.
that didn't last, but
right. Yeah, of course.
One of the worst ones that has ever been used on me was
Hey Tom, what's up?
no, it was what's someone got to do to get around with you? And I was like, what the fuck? We're on the school bus.
Oh.
Whoa.
It was a really weird, like, wow, this is a huge power move, but like also I'm not feeling it, and that was really random. And so it just depends, you had to have a rapport. The best one that was used on me was I was in the library, I was unexpecting it, and then this girl came up to me. I think I've told you this, Caitlin. A girl came up to me. She's like, "Hi, my name is," I'll save her name, and she's like, "I have a thing for Asian guys," and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh my!
It's not even a pickup
God.
line. It was just the power move used correctly.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was a library, and I was
Did it
studying.
work?
We dated for 2 years.
Oh
There
my
you go.
God.
So it worked.
that was the best one.
Hell yeah.
I
Wow.
never really used pickup lines. I mean, I love the one from Jason Sudeikis. How much does a polar bear weigh? Enough to break the ice. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
But I remember one time was the closest thing I ever got to a pickup line being used on me. I was in the 8th grade, and I had a crush on this girl. We'll call her Alice for now. And I had a crush on her for like 3 years, but I was like best friends. My dad was like best friends with her family. So we saw each other all the time. It was like one of those things. Few years, 2 of them, I had this crush on her for a while. It was very known, but not known that in the way that things are in 8th grade, where like I was best friends with her brother and he probably told her.
Where's
a
the
bunch,
pickup
whatever.
line?
So one day I'm over there hanging out, and her friend comes out of the room and goes, "Corey, do you still like Alice?" And I panicked and went, "No." And they went, "Oh, okay," and went away. Turned out that was a pickup line. She sent her friend to go see if I still liked her in the other room, and I said no because I panicked. But of course I did, and I found out like 2 years later, and I was like, "Nah, I'm an idiot."
Power move.
It worked out though. It worked out fine.
Way to go, Corey.
And we're still friends to this day. She's super cool. She's the cutest baby I've ever seen.
Oh my God. Sorry, I just
Jesus.
remembered another one.
Yeah.
Mine are all really dumb and embarrassing.
That you've used.
Those are the best ones.
I'm very
though.
glad it's that you're using them because there's not a lot. I think there's a weird stigma that women aren't.
You
want to
know the best part? I'm still friends with both these guys on Facebook.
That's fine.
On Facebook.
I'm
On
friends with.
Facebook. So we were at a restaurant in St. Louis, and I
We have one more question to get through. Keep
I
that
know.
in mind.
Okay. So we were at a restaurant in St. Louis. I was hungry, but not super hungry. And I wanted to get the kids' meal because it came in this really cool old car, but you could only get it if you were
kid.
12 or
Or under.
younger.
Yeah.
And so the waiter comes up and I go, "I would like the kids' meal. I would like chicken tenders and fries, please. And I want them in the car." And he was like, I'm so sorry. That is for 12 and under. And I was like, oh my goodness, wouldn't you know? I just turned 12 today. So I would like my chicken tenders and fries in the car, please and thank you. And he was like, what? And he like looked around a little bit. He's like, yeah, okay. So he gave me the chicken tenders and fries in the little car, and I ate it and was very excited. And then I had the gall afterwards to when he's like, hey, would you guys like any dessert or anything? I was like, well, it is my 12th birthday. Do you give dessert to the birthday girl? And he again looks around and was like, let me see what I can do. So he comes back with a bowl filled with ice cream. And I eat my ice cream. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life. I don't know why this is happening. Why did I do this? Great, I have ice cream now. And I left my number on a napkin and said, I was just kidding about the whole thing. I'm definitely not 12. Hi. And now we're friends.
And then he was like, am I going to be on Dateline later? Damn.
He was not, but somehow that worked. Yep. And I got chicken
so your
tenders,
pickup line was
ice
telling
cream.
a grown person that you were 12.
Yes.
And it worked.
You kind of Karen somebody.
It's really in the delivery, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's not. It's always about delivery.
He had to be there.
You really had to be there for real.
Let's pump out one more here.
Yeah, never mind.
Sorry, I want to make sure they get their
it's
due.
It's gonna be an hour-long episode.
Let's do. This is a simple one. Thomas Olario. This is from last week.
Thomas.
Who's your favorite villain?
This is always the tough one because I always go to Magneto and then we always go, but he's not really a villain. Favorite villain of all time. No, because he's not. Even right now, he's not. Definitely not a villain. Neither is. I mean, it's my same Apocalypse. I think Apocalypse is a fascinating villain to me. I've explained why. It's his poetic speeches. I think some of the best writing in X-Men it belongs to Apocalypse and his prose and stuff like that. Anyway, that's my answer. He terrifies me as a villain. There's no other villain that comes on a page where I'm like, fuck. Everyone else is like, oh, this is going to be good. I can't wait to see this. But with him, it's like, everyone might die.
I like, right now, I'll just say, I like Cell from Dragon Ball Z. He's an android from the future who absorbs other androids. And he's like, I am the perfect being. Fight me.
It's my favorite Saga.
And it's like, oh my God. And then he's like, I'm going to kill this thing in front of a little boy so he can fight me.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's pretty great.
Respect that, Tom.
And I like the voice actor. And also every time he walks, it's and he's got a cool do.
His character design is pretty awesome also.
That's just one of them. I have plenty of favorite ones.
Yeah. Caitlin, Josh?
Shigaraki. My Hero Academia.
Oh,
Tomura Shigaraki.
I just think he's just flawed AF. And I just love that he just has so much death.
So much
death.
Caitlin, you're up.
The first one that sprung to mind, which is really silly, is Valmont from Jackie Chan Adventures.
Oh.
I really liked Valmont. He was
I respect that.
Dumb and bad at his job and ended up helping the good guys down the road.
He was like Lex Luthor that became James from Pokemon.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
No wonder I love him.
So it's a wonderful way to say that, Tom.
It's not a dress, it's a gown.
Yeah. Cool, we did it.
We did it.
Josh, take us out of here.
Everybody at home, thank you so much for listening or watching the Nerd On Update. We appreciate you. If you would like to check out more of our content and are new to us, check out our website, nerdon.tv. It has all of the links and all of that good stuff. We're on all the social medias. We're on all of the podcast platforms. So wherever you like to listen to podcasts, we are there. And if we're not, let me know. I'll get us there. Check out our YouTube. We're putting a lot of work into that. All of our episodes go to video, so do check that out. We're working on it. Join us on Sundays on our Twitch, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Hell yeah.
Check out our shop, nerdon.tv/shop. Share us with your friends, your family. Rate and review. That is actually how we grow.
Do you know what it's like?
Oh, shit.
When we get rated and reviewed and we get like comments and stuff from you guys?
Tell me.
It's like being kind of hungry but not super hungry and then asking for the kids' meal and getting it and then also like getting ice cream at the end of that kids' meal.
And lying about your age.
And then getting flown to France for a cup of coffee.
And then getting flown to France for a cup of coffee. That's what it's like.
Yeah.
So please do that.
Please do. All right.
And check out that Nerd On Nation. That is how we upgrade our content and make better content. And we love telling you guys secrets. So check that out. nerdon.tv/Patreon. That is all of the housekeeping. Yeah, Roy.
Roy?
Roy.
He says
Yeah,
it.
Roy.
Yeah,
He says
Roy.
it in Hot Fuzz. Yeah,
know.
Roy.
I know.
Anyway,
Just caught me off
we
guard.
are done.
Outta here.
That's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You know the drill.
As always,
Nerd on.